a little bit different because I now have 20 years worth of experience compared to back then I had zero. So there's things that I might talk about differently now than I would have back then. So anyway, but one of the things was in there was this acronym called GUT, GUT, and it was get clear goals, understand your intuition, and understand your intuition, and T, transformation or something like that. And it's been a while because I haven't done it probably in 12 years. But in there was a part where I talked about, trusting your instincts, trusting your internal guidance system. That's real, right? When you don't, for example, you get a thought about an idea and your intuition says, man, that's a good idea. But your small mind says to you, well, I don't know that I can do that. That might be a little difficult, or I'm afraid that if I try that, it might not work out. Or what if I fail at it, right? That's small mind thinking. Because we don't really know how things are going to go. Give you an example. So I see we got Lynette and we got Sharon joining us. So welcome, ladies. So I'll give you an example, a life example. So we're now in our 4th year, the Daily Gratitude Movement. It wasn't called the Daily Gratitude Movement when I started. I started out almost 6 years ago. Well, no, I'm actually in my 6th year now. So 5 years ago in a few months, I took on a gratitude challenge and I started writing gratitude. About a year and a half in, I had this thought that I wanted to share this experience with more people. I didn't know how. And when I talked to a few people, the suggestions that they made just didn't resonate with me. And so I kind of put it to the side. But as I continued to write my gratitude daily, I saw the improvements in my life. And I felt like, man, I just would love for other people to have this experience. Little did I know that, almost back in 2005, I made a declaration that I want to help people to heal and be free. And that was a thing that went into my subconscious mind. So anyway, I joined this app called Clubhouse, and it took me about 3 months before I actually went in and actually used it. And the first week that I was on there, I got the thought that this would be a great place for me to maybe reach more people, to share my gratitude experience and to also have them share their gratitude experience. So out of fear, because I didn't know what I was going to do, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And I was worried about, and this is the small mind. So I was worried about, is anyone going to want to hear what I want to say? Is anyone even going to want to share the gratitude with me? Is anyone going to show up? Like, hey, Kat, how is this going to work? And all those things. And that was my small mind wanting me to stay small and be small. And so I did the opposite. I called up 2 people, one person. How do you start a room in Clubhouse? Because I didn't know. I had to get knowledge. All right. So they gave me some knowledge and they said, okay, this is what you would do. And this is the person you need to talk to. So I called the second person, and the second person said, yeah, you just got to do this, blah, 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 bang. And they set me up, and that was Tony. And then, and the first person was Amanda. And then he said, well, let's schedule it now. And my small mind said, no, let me wait and I'll get back to you in a couple of days so I can decide if this is what I really want to do. That's a small mind talking me out of something before I even had a chance to start it. And so I hung up the phone with him and I said, this is ridiculous. Let me just go for it now. All right. So I did exactly what he said, and I scheduled it. And I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that whatever resources I needed would show up for me when I needed them to show up. That was a belief that I had. And we did that, had that first room on a Monday. And there was probably about 50 or 60 people that showed up on that day. And I was like, wow. So I got some reinforcement, mentally, and then physically and auditorily, I got feedback saying this was a good thing. And it wasn't any of the stuff I thought, which was a small mind thinking. So I went ahead with it. After about a week or so, I realized that this is good. This is a great idea. And had I let my small mind like rob me of the opportunity, I wouldn't have started. Now, fast forward, over 3 years later, it is now a nonprofit, and tens of thousands of people have come through this this organization, and it went from a daily gratitude room to the daily gratitude movement to the daily gratitude movement nonprofit. Had I listened to the small mind, we wouldn't be where we are now. We wouldn't have the experiences that we're having now. We wouldn't have the leadership team that we're having now. We wouldn't have the transformation of the lives of the people that we've been helping to transform now. None of those things would have happened if I listened to my small mind. So that's a real life example. There's other things, but that one's probably the biggest one. I can give you another one. I was given a challenge to write a book, and instantly fear kicked in. And it's like, dude, what are you going to write a book? What are you going to write a book about? Like, nobody's going to want to read your book. It's a lot of work. It's hard. It's going to take time. It's going to cost money. But I accepted the challenge because I know that when I step out of my comfort zone, I'm going to have a result that I didn't know I was going to have. Long story short, we finished the book, we published the book, and I've been getting a lot of 5-star reviews, and people have been messaging me, said, dude, your book was amazing. But if had I listened to the small mind, I wouldn't have done that book. I wouldn't have finished that book. And those people wouldn't have been able to have that experience. So that's another example of the small mind. Like, I believe that if God gives you a thought, God gives you an idea, or God sends you a message, and I say God for me because I'm a Christian, I believe in God, and you talk yourself out of it, that's not God talking you out of it. That's your small mind talking you out of it. That's fear telling you that all the things that can go wrong. There's a bunch of stuff that can go wrong in life, but you're not going to have any success in life if you don't try. If you don't give it a shot, you're 100% guaranteed for it not to work if you don't, step up and step out of the comfort zone. And so, when I write my gratitude, sometimes I think of like how many times like I step out of my comfort zone. As a matter of fact, I think my comfort zone keeps expanding in terms of comfort. So I do more, I was trying to do a circle, but I do more. And then I get comfortable in that space. And then all of a sudden, like the next level is over here and I got to grow into it. So every time I expand my comfort zone, I grow. And every time I grow, I have a new experience or a new way of thinking of things. I saw one of my friends who was a multimillionaire post this morning. He's has created 2 successful businesses, 2 multi-million-dollar businesses, and $130,000 or something like that got sucked out of his bank account by something or someone or something, right? And they filed and this was with American Express, and they filed, a claim, and nothing was happening. And so people that were responding to him, because he wrote down what the steps were. Well, he says, if you have a system, you've got good leadership, and you've got, a team that really is solution oriented, you're going to find out what the problem is, right? And I was looking at the responses that people were putting in. They were reacting to the $130,000. They were reacting to that. That wasn't the issue. It could have been $13. It doesn't matter, right? So what he said was systems, mindset, personal development. And I don't remember what the other thing is that he said. Those were the things that caused him to be able to solve that problem. to come up with a solution. And he got the money back, by the way. So it isn't about the amount. But what happens is when you grow personally, your capacity to be able to do more increases. So what I was able to do 5 years ago, I can do even more now. I can handle more things now. I can juggle more things now. I can be more productive in my day because I've learned how to handle multiple things going on around me, not all at the same time, but moving in and out of it. And my capacity, my thought process has expanded as a result of time. And that's what he was talking about. We grow through the challenges that we have. And when we're working through a challenge, if we have a proper system in place, and the other thing was, he said, a good financial system to catch these things and to identify them when they show up was the other thing that he said was needed. And that's what my response was to him. And I got a boom from him. So when I got a boom from this guy, it means you got it. All right. And because there were people talking about, yeah, I got a system for, it didn't have anything to do with really what he was saying. Anyway, I'm not here to make anyone wrong or anything like that. All I'm saying is that the small mind will put you into fear and cause you not to be able to think about what it is that you need to think about in an intelligent way. And when you're in fear, you can't produce the same results as when you're calm and you have a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind, solutions always show up for. When there's fear and there's chaos and there's, and you're reacting, you are in an energy that does not create, it destroys. And you have to understand that from experience, because if you not really experienced it, it may be hard to understand. But when you're in love, okay, you do all sorts of amazing things. You have all sorts of creative ideas. You're happy and you're like a butterfly floating along. You're like, right? When you're angry, all you want to do is like destroy stuff, right? You're like, this person is wrong. You can't see the light. All you see is dark, right? And so that's the difference. And so it's important to develop a mindset through personal development that can help you to stay in peace, or help you to connect with someone who can actually bring you down and help and calm you. Today I shared in one of our meetings that, you can't solve a problem or challenge with the same mind that created it, right? It's going to take a different mind to solve it. And so anyway, so that's my my take on, the small mind. The small mind is a crook. It wants to rob you of success and joy. It's a liar. It lies to you, tells you things that are not true. It makes you believe things about people that they don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about it. It puts you in an unresourceful place, because nothing is created by the small mind. And it keeps you in fear, and it robs you of your dreams. And so it's important to recognize the small mind and not have it be a thief, because and that's the other thing too. When you realize that success in life comes from just taking a chance, just taking a risk, you realize that the challenges that you have are opportunities for you to grow. And if you could just reframe that one idea, that one belief system in your mind, someone, you're butting heads with someone and you're thinking, oh, this person's a real butthead, right? I can't deal with them. They aggravate the hell out of me, right? That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, you know what? Every time I connect with this person, there's friction. And is there something that I can do differently, that I can learn from this person? Is there a lesson that I need to learn from this experience? And then all of a sudden you go into a whole different resourceful state where you're starting to think, okay, you know what? This person's giving me a gift. Anyone that's ever did something to me that, quote unquote, I thought was wrong, or didn't do something that they said they were going to do, has given me a gift. It's either taught me how to ask for what I want in a different kind of way. It's caused me to go learn some other skill because I couldn't get it when I thought I was going to get it where from them. It's caused me to be more mindful in terms of how I communicate and talk to others. You know, so every situation, you know, I've had people have made promises to me that they didn't keep it. And I used to make them wrong for that. And then one day I realized that, you know what? Hey, actually, you know, you've caused me to become more resourceful because I've got to find another way to do something.